Somewhere tonight, a child cannot sleep. You might know the one. Some nights it's you. It's the kind of awake that comes when somebody you love is far away or has gone somewhere you can't follow yet. The house goes quiet in the wrong way. The pillow won't get warm. You count past 10 and the number just keeps going. And on a night exactly like that, if you close your eyes and don't give up, a road appears. A soft gold road, going up. At the top of it stands a castle. Now, you already know what castles have. Walls as thick as a lie, iron gates, heavy doors, locks the size of your head. Because a castle, usually, is a thing people build to decide who gets to come in. This one is different. Walk all the way around it if you like, the way the small, road-dusty child did that night, looking for the way in. There isn't one. Not the way you mean. There are no doors here. None. Not a single door in the whole castle. Only entrances, tall, open arches, glowing warm, the light spilling out onto the road, reaching down the hill toward you like a hand left open. A door is a thing you build to keep somebody out, and since nobody is ever kept out of this castle, it simply doesn't have any. The child stood at the bottom of the gold road and asked the only sensible question. How do I get in? And a voice like a deep well answered from the nearest arch. You walk. That's it. That's the whole trick. You're already doing it. The arches were not unguarded, far from it. At each one stood a knight, a big one, up on 2 feet, taller than you, armor catching the lantern light. But these knights weren't there to stop anyone. They were there to greet you. True protection here means being seen. It means knowing that the very second you arrive, someone is there to say hello. The first knight took off his helmet, and it was a cat. An enormous gray and white cat, fur like a fluffed-up storm, in armor that did not suit the dignity of his face at all. Welcome, he said. You're expected. You're always expected. Mind the second knight. He's a hugger. The second knight, a broad, bright-eyed dog, had already opened his arms. The third sat still and watchful, a quiet sentinel who only nodded. I see you. You made it. And the fourth muttered to himself in a language nobody could place, sketching little plans in the air, and said something that sounded like "shown," for no reason at all. These 4 guardians stand at the threshold, so every child, no matter their temperament, finds the exact kind of welcome they need to feel safe. And past the arches, in the great warm hall, open to the night on every side, the wind itself welcome, stood the ones the castle belonged to. A king, broad-shouldered, gray in his beard, his crown a little crooked, like he kept forgetting it was there. A queen beside him, quick-eyed and warm, her sleeves already pushed up, like there was work she couldn't wait to start. And 2 princesses, one nearly grown, calm and kind, one small and bright as a struck match. When the king kneels to meet you at eye level, he does it like someone who values your presence more than his crown. You found us, he said. Good. You should know, this is a place to stay for as long as you need to. In this hall, authority is expressed through humility and the promise of a permanent home. Which kind of person was this built for? The child whispered. The queen smiled. The kind who's missing somebody. That's everybody, said the little princess helpfully. That's rather the point, said the queen. So they took the child's hand and the tour began. They walked through the open arches into the 4 warm wings of the castle, each glowing with its own color against the dark night sky. Because there are many different ways a heart can ache from separation, this sanctuary keeps a specific room permanently lit for every single one. The first archway glowed with the color of morning. The queen requested this wing be placed at the very front of the castle so the children could find her as quickly as possible. She led the new child inside. There was no door to open. The space simply began. The air was thick with the scent of warm bread, something sweet simmering on the stove, and sun-dried laundry. These smells are a hug you can walk straight into. This wing belongs to the children who are missing their mothers. The room is filled with soft light and low tables. There are cushions worn into comfortable shapes, and a long window where the dawn never ends. Moving between the children, quiet as a thought, is the guardian, a slim cat in pale armor. She never speaks. She is there to observe. She knows a cup is empty before the child does. She tracks the subtle shifts in the room, watching for anyone who has gone too quiet. Her entire purpose is to notice. She provides the steady, silent attention that grounds the room. A small child sat by the window, holding a folded scarf. Every few moments, they pressed it to their face to make sure the memory was still there. "It still smells like her," the child told the queen. "If I'm careful, if I don't use it up." The queen sat down on the floor beside them. She didn't offer a grand speech. She simply shared the child's level. "We'll keep it somewhere safe," she said. "You can visit it whenever you need to. But look here," she tapped the child gently over the heart. "That scent is already part of you. The scarf is just a place to go to remember that she's already inside." Mothers don't wash out baby, they soak in. At another table, a child had set out 2 cups for tea. One was for them, the one across from it sat empty. The queen didn't acknowledge the absence as a loss. She sat in the empty chair and reached for the second cup. "She'd take it strong, I bet," the queen said. "Mine always did." She drank the tea and spoke about the child's mother as if she were simply expected home any minute. In this castle, love isn't gone, it is only far away. When you sit at her table and share her habits, the miles between you start to feel very small. Batuka moved through the wing, laying cloth-wrapped stones in the children's laps. They were warm, pulled straight from the hearth. The stones have a specific weight, the exact feeling of a hand resting comfortingly on your back. As she leaned over the child with the scarf, the guardian broke her years of silence. She breathed 2 words, so faint they were almost a trick of the air. "Let it be." She straightened immediately, looking surprised by her own voice. She didn't explain herself. She simply returned to her silence and her work. "Why doesn't she talk?" one of the children asked, watching her move away. "The deepest love is often very quiet," the queen answered. "It shows up by staying close. It notices. It keeps the room warm." She watched the cat a moment longer. "I've known a few people like that. I try to be like them." By the time they prepared to leave, every cup in the room was full. No one was left sitting alone by the window. The queen led the child toward the next archway, where the light shifted into the soft glow of a late afternoon. This was the king's wing. The next arch glowed with the color of late afternoon, the specific gold that hits the siding of a house right before a father is supposed to get home from work. It is the light of a day finally turning soft. The king spent a long time engineering this exact frequency. He didn't like to say how long. He brought the child in without preamble. In this wing, you didn't have to wait to be asked. The sanctuary was designed to be a default state, which was the entire point of the geography, though no one ever thought to tell him so. He was only the king. This was the domain for children who were missing their fathers. The layout suggested a giant's workshop that had been overtaken by the world's best treehouse. It was a tactile, chaotic logic of ropes, ladders, and long benches. There were real tools and a fire pit ringed with heavy logs. The environment was built to provide the physical comfort of a presence that doesn't need to be explained. The low, friendly thunder in the corner belonged to the guardian, a broad dog who stood with his chest out. He occupied space as if he were a permanent part of the floor. He was a static defense. Nothing bad ever got past him. He was the bravest of the 4, mostly because he understood that the job didn't require movement, it required solidity. In this realm, staying put and being heavy is the majority of the work. A child was at a high bench, hunched over a wobbly chair leg. He had the kind of intense, narrowed focus you only see in people who have been forced to figure everything out on their own. "I learned it myself," the kid said, his eyes never leaving the wood. "I learn everything myself. It's fine." The king didn't reach for the tool. He just sat on the bench nearby. "I can see that. You're good at it too." He watched the work for a minute. "When I was your size and my own dad was far away, I could fix things too. But I missed having someone to hold the other end. That's a different kind of job. How about it? You do the fixing, I'll just be the weight on the other end. That's allowed. The kid looked at him, then moved the chair leg into the king's hands. They worked in silence, the instability of the wood vanishing the moment the king's weight met the bench. Near the fire, the guardian dog had flopped flat, allowing 3 children to climb over him like a hill. His tail thudded rhythmically against the dirt, a reminder that sometimes love is just a warm, physical foundation that refuses to move. One child sat apart, staring into the flames. He hadn't spoken since he arrived. The king crouched beside him, matching his height. You don't have to talk. I'm just going to sit here and be large and in the way. That's a dad thing. We're specialists at taking up space, so you don't have to. After a while, the child leaned his shoulder into the king's arm. The king didn't acknowledge it with a word. He only braced himself, becoming a bit more solid, so there would be more of him to lean against. Will he come back? The child asked at last. My dad? And the king didn't lie. That castle does not lie to children. I don't know your story, little knight, he said. But I know the love a father has for you doesn't need him standing here to be real. That kind of love's got a long arm, longer than you think, longer than they tell you. It reaches across any distance you can name every single night while you're asleep. It gets to you. It always gets to you. The big guardian heard it and let out one deep, contented rumble of a bark. Agreed. And buried somewhere down inside that bark was a word. It sounded almost like thunder. He looked round afterward as if to find out who had said it. Nobody had the heart to tell him it was him. And for a moment, the whole wing felt guarded. That was 2. And the king sent the child on toward the 3rd arch, the one that glowed like the inside of a blanket fort with a flashlight on, his oldest daughter's wing. The 3rd arch glows with the specific light of a blanket fort lit from the inside, that deep, safe kind of dark where you aren't afraid because you can hear someone you trust breathing right next to you. And this is the older princess's wing. There isn't a door to knock on. The king is famously proud of the fact that his castle has no doors at all. He mentions it every chance he gets. You simply walk in. This space is held for the children who are missing a brother or a sister. It looks like one enormous bedroom that stretches on forever. Bunks are stacked high into the towers, blanket forts are strung like bridges between them, and the floor is a landscape of half-finished games. The guardian here is a scruffy, clever dog who spends his nights muttering to himself and drawing invisible maps in the air. He runs the games with a chaotic sort of authority. If you ask him the rules, he'll talk for an hour and eventually drop a word like shun without realizing he's speaking a language he shouldn't know. But even with all the games and the forts, the room feels suspended, as if everything is waiting for a second player who hasn't arrived. A kid sat on a bottom bunk, very carefully breaking a cookie exactly in half, then setting the other half up on the empty pillow above. That's my brother's, the kid said. I always save him half. Even though he's not… The kid stopped. He's just not here right now. The older princess climbed up and sat on the edge of the empty top bunk, easy, like she belonged there. She had a little sister of her own. Down the hall, she said, probably starting some kind of diplomatic incident this very minute. So she knew the job. The half a cookie thing, she said? You think you're doing it for him. You're not. You're doing it so you don't forget how to share. So that when you're back together, and around here we're pretty sure you will be, you've still got the habit. She broke a corner off her own. Tonight, though, I'll eat his half, so it doesn't go stale. He'd want that. Brothers always want you to eat their half. Out in the middle of the floor, a child sat alone at the edge of a game built for 2. So the princess did the simplest, biggest thing there is. She found another child, sitting alone at the edge of a different game, and walked them both into the middle, together. You 2, she said. Tonight, you're each other's. That's how this wing works. Nobody's an only in here, unless they want to be. She crouched down between them. It's not the same as the one you're missing. I won't insult you and pretend it is. But a brother for tonight is a real thing, and it counts. The guardian barked twice, slapped an invisible map down on the floor, declared the 2 of them a team, and muttered, shun, very pleased with himself, with absolutely no idea what it meant. And that was that. They were a team, instantly, and apparently forever. The princess slips away quietly, her work done. As she walks, you can see that first connection beginning to ripple through the room. Children see the example and start drifting toward one another, filling the gaps in the games and the forts. By the time she reaches the exit, the vast bedroom has become a warm tangle of people who have decided, for just one night, to belong to each other. That was the third arch. Now she points the way toward the last one, an entrance that doesn't glow a specific color, but simply radiates light. This is her little sister's wing. It's the archway that anchors everything else in the castle. Warm, inviting tone. The last arch didn't glow a color. It simply glowed soft and steady, the kind of light when someone leaves a lamp on so you won't be scared. The little princess didn't lead the child in grandly. She skipped through the open arch like it was home, because it was. This wing is for kids who are sick, she said, and in here they get to feel better. It was the most beautiful room in the whole castle. Not the coolest. Her big sister had the tower-high bunk beds, and those were genuinely cool. But this one was the kindest. Big, soft beds, like clouds signed up for the job. Windows full of slow stars. Plants that leaned toward the children instead of toward the light, which the little princess insisted she had taught them to do. Sort of. And right in the middle, enormous and warm and rumbling, like a furnace that runs on love, lay the last guardian, the giant cat. He took his armor off in here. He was a mountain of fluff now, so any child who couldn't run or couldn't stand, or was simply tired in the way that sleeping doesn't fix, could climb into his side and be held by something bigger than whatever was scaring them. There was a child in there who was very pale, who moved slow and careful. He watched the others playing, and he said the saddest small thing. "I can't really play, I get tired." So the little princess plopped right down next to him. "Okay," she said, "so we won't run. Running's super overrated anyway. My sister says I run like a startled chicken. Here's what we'll do instead. We'll lie back on the big cat, and we'll watch the stars run. They're really fast, watch." And they lay back against the big, warm, rumbling cat, the sick child and the bright one, and the stars went streaking and wheeling around. And for as long as that lasted, he wasn't a sick kid. He was just a kid, watching stars, breathing easy. The giant cat lowered his great head and breathed out, slow and warm, over them. And something in the room got lighter. Not all better. That castle doesn't promise all better. But lighter. Held. The way a fever breaks toward morning. "Cowabunga," the cat mumbled, half asleep, with no idea why he'd said it. He never does. And then, because the little princess cannot ever do a kind thing quietly, and never once in her life has, she stood straight up on the giant cat's side and called out, as loud as she had, through every open arch at once. "Everybody, come see the stars." And they came. Out of the wing of mothers, and the wing of fathers, and the wing of brothers and sisters. All of them. Every missing somebody child in that whole castle, padding in barefoot in their pajamas. They piled up against the great warm cat and around the cloud beds, and they watched the sky run together. The king and the queen stood at the edge of it. Both princesses were somewhere in the middle of the pile, and the four guardians ringed the whole room, facing out into the dark, so that not one child in there, not one, had to keep a single eye open tonight. And here is what I noticed, watching them. I, the one who has been telling you all of this, who slips in between the others and hasn't said my name and isn't going to. Every child in that room came up the gold road alone, and not one of them was alone anymore. That's the thing about a castle with no doors. You think you came because you were missing somebody. You stay because here, somebody is missing you and finds you every single night. I know a little about that as it happens, about loving someone a long way off, about only getting to them once the lights go out. You don't build a place like this, no doors, every arch lit, a warm spot always kept, unless you have needed one yourself, unless there is a distance you would give anything to close. I needed one, so I built it, and then I left it open for you too. So if you're awake right now and the pillow won't get warm, listen, the road is already there, the gold one, going up. There's no door at the top to knock on, no gate to wait at, nobody to ask. There never was. We didn't forget to build them. We left them out on purpose, so that you could just come in. We even kept the warm spot, yours, the one by the window. And far down at the bottom of the gold road, out in the dark, a small figure stepped onto it, road dust on their shoes, a long, sad day still on them, and they began, slowly, to climb. The big, bold guardian lifted his head. He didn't bark a warning. There are no warnings here. He only turned and called back into the warm, to the king, to the queen, to every child already inside. There's one more, coming up the road. The queen was already walking out to meet them. There's always one more, she said. That's the whole point. Come on, let's go bring them in.